First score.
Hello, 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 hello. Oh man, whew, I was back here fighting for my life. I was doing my best. I was doing my best. Okay. Whew. All right, all right. Oh, I need to clean these. I'm gonna wipe them on my shirt because I know that that little thing is dirty. How have y'all been? What you been doing? Stuff, man. I got so much stuff to do. So much stuff to do. I mean, there's always things to do. There's always 157 things to do at all times. Oh, I don't like that much better. I don't know why I was doing that the hard way anyway. Oh, man. It's Wednesday. So you know what that means. It is Ask Coach Catasha. Today is Ask Coach Catasha, which is our live Q&A. It is our live has put in place, okay? Not me, the system, okay? And those parameters include some keywords that we can't use or that are automatically flagged when something comes. A Twitch folder, but that I have not gotten anything in that folder. I don't know what they're talking about. I just know that whenever I'm trying, they like, not today, kiddo. Not today. So, um, if you are trying to ask me a question and you are not seeing, give me just a second. And you are not seeing the question pop up, or I am not answering it or anything like that, please feel free to interrupt me, flag me down, whatever you need to do so that I can see your question because it probably didn't make it to me. it yeah, it probably didn't make it to me. So we'll have to figure out a different way for the question to be able to come through so that you know I can actually answer it. Now, when I do answer the questions, I am answering them as an educator. I am not answering them as a judgmental body or someone who has an invested interest in what you have going on. My interests solely rely on the information that you give me, and they are based in, is everything that you're doing safe? Are you doing it in the safest way possible? And is everyone there having a good time? That's all that's important to me. So when I answer those questions, that's what I'm going to be in tune with, and the rest of that conversation, it's not going to be my business. Um, so of course, I did not look up anything before. So let's go see. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the chat. If you do not want your questions associated with your username, you can email those questions to why doesn't it? Hold on, it says I'm not logged in. I don't know what the password is. I'm trying to leave a comment. It's telling me I need to log in. So let me go look at my passwords and see. And then they moved them, and then I moved them again. So I don't even know where that app is. There it is. Okay. I'm like, do they expect me to remember all of these passwords in my mind? Okay, let me look at it and see. That should be right. Did I do it right? Nope, no, I did not. Okay, now let me go check my email and check the code that's going to my email. I'm using my the MacBook mouse. I mean the mouse that come with it. I'm not used to that. I'm not typing nothing. Okay, we'll try it again. There we go. If you have any questions that you would like answered that have to do with sexuality, with gender, with romantic assignment, with erectile dysfunction, with pain, with delayed orgasm, anything, any questions you can think of that have to do with sex and sexuality, I am here to answer them. And that's what we're going to be doing today. Okay. So let's go look and see. Let's go look and see where if we have any stuff. Okay, okay. Um, I have so many messages in these. Ooh, that's not what I meant to do. Okay, okay. Do I have to check all of these to see if it's okay? No. So it's a bunch of stuff in here, but and now all these people gonna think, oh, okay, okay, okay. Let's see, let's see. Mm, mm. Okay, yes. Okay, I'm gonna answer this one, but this is okay. So first of all, you need to be 18 to be watching this show. Okay, this is an adults program, and this is an adult. Um, this is an age appropriate explanation of sexuality for adults. This is not an age appropriate explanation of sexual things for someone who is under 18. Comma but you did ask me this, so I'm gonna answer it, but you shouldn't be here to watch it. But I'm gonna shave, right? And it is someone who is a preteen. I guess maybe not a preteen. What's preteen ages? There's someone who is below 18 who is asking about maintaining their pubic hair. Okay, and this person has a penis and testicles, and is wondering, should they be shaving the whole, what should they be shaving, and should they be shaving the testicles? Okay, should they be shaving the testicles? Okay, so again, that is an age appropriate question for someone who is under 18. So I completely understand, and I'm not gonna take that away from you. Okay. Um. So here's the thing about shaving. Shaving is something that you can do or you cannot do. It's completely up to you and your partner and what is preferable to the both of you. Okay. If you do want to shave, you can shave. If you don't want to shave, you don't have to shave. The hair actually has a responsibility in both types of bodies. The hair on your body actually has a responsibility. So you don't have to shave it if you don't want to. But for aesthetic reasons, many people do shave. And I actually did write a article on this. Maybe I'm gonna plug it in a thing on Healthline about shaving. But shaving is something that many people do participate in and that many people do on a regular basis. So, or just hair removal in general. Shaving as a preteen is, so this is when you are supposed to start it, okay? This, you do, it is a process. You do have to learn. It is best if that learning environment is at home where you are not making decisions and making changes to the body or doing things to the body and you don't have a support system, okay? It's important that all the people, I don't know why it just didn't appear over. Let me put it over. My bad. Give me just a second. Oh, that is the email address for if you want to send your questions without, you want to remain anonymous in sending your question. It didn't show up on both, so I wasn't sure if it showed up, but whatever, we see it now. So, shaving. Shaving is an activity that you will be doing, and it is best that if you are doing that um, while you are in an environment where you have support. So being in an environment with your parents helps you to be able to know what to do with the body, what to do in case you do something wrong, things like that. And those things are important. So yes, shaving is something that happens or um, that comes into the mind as puberty starts to set in. Okay. And shaving down there is something that you will need practice doing before it is necessary. So if it is something that you do want to do or you don't want to do, you can make that decision at any time in your life. You can change. You don't have to remove the hair. You can keep removing. You can take it off permanently if you want. Whatever is best for you. But in the meantime, as a young kid, I would, yes, shaving. You can shave if you want to. Now, let's talk about what you should be shaving and what you should not be shaving. Okay. There should not be, I'm not going to say there are not, because people have different bodies and there are all kind of conditions that, exist in all kinds of different flavors. Okay, that's the word I want. Different flavors. So you have the ability to, you should be in a standard setup. Okay, if everything is the way that it's supposed to be and you have not been diagnosed with any kind of additional conditions or, you don't know of anything else that would be causing any other issues, then you should not have hair follicles on your penis. Okay, so there is no need to take the razor to the shaft or the glans, which is the head of the penis, right? There's no reason to do that. You do not have any hair grow. You should not have any hair growing. You do not have follicles in that area for that reason. There should not be hair that needs shaving growing from the shaft and from the tip or the glands of the penis or the head. Now, that means that the bulk of the hair that you're going to be dealing with is going to be actually on the pubic, on the mons pubis, or what's called the mons pubis, but it's the pubic bone. So you're going to be having hair on your pubic bone. You may have some on your lower belly. You may get it on your inner thighs. You're going to get it on your. Uh-oh, did I get kicked off? No, I didn't. I don't know what's going on. Oh, do I have too much stuff going on? Oh, okay. I forgot I had something going on in the background. My bad. Oh, yeah, I was trying to move over the stuff. Okay, let me see. Let me see what it's doing. Um, okay, I don't know what that was. Like, I just got a thing that was like, it's not working, and I don't know. Uh, but I was doing some work in the background and trying to looking for a song and trying to transfer some files and all kind of stuff. So that might have been my bad. Anyway, okay. So you're likely going to have hair growing on your pubic bone. You're going to have hair growing on your inner thighs. It's going to go around to the in between the cheeks and up the butt, and you'll get it up the legs and all of that. And so, how much of that you want to shave off is completely up to you. Why you want to shave is also important. If you are wanting to shave your, private area to cut down on sweat, or if, it just kind of boomed in and you weren't really prepared for that much hair, or if it's just overwhelming or a lot for you, or, whatever the reason may be, you don't have to explain to anybody why you want to shave. It's completely your decision. But the how much you shave is also completely up to you. How you choose to use your hair removal system is also up to you. So if you can use a razor. I would recommend that's where you start with, because that's your most basic form of hair removal, and it's the one that, although it is still dangerous because there are techniques and you need to be using a clean razor every time. I remember seeing on 1,000 Ways to Die that a lady had died from using a raggedy razor, and I was like, I've used a raggedy razor so many times. Like, I'm so glad I didn't die. But make sure you're using a good razor. Make sure you're using a good trimming system. So here's the thing, and we're actually going to be talking about this on our series on Monday. Next Monday, we are starting our hygiene for college-bound adults. So we're going to be talking about ways to take care of your body, what you're supposed to be doing, moving into the shift of being on your own and being out there as an individual, versus the things that a lot of the things that your parents took care of for you in the background that you may not be aware of. So, and we're going to just talk about why it's important. We're going to do a step-by-step breakdown of each of the hygiene spaces and what you need. We're going to go head to toe. So the goal of that is to create a confident and hygienic environment, so that you are going into a space with someone you have never met, and that you are bringing the best version of you forward. And also that there are many people who do not have the resources to automatically know, right? Some of us had parents who worked two jobs. Some of us were raised by another generation. Some of us were raised in alternate homes or under different conditions where there was no one directly pouring that into us because they had other responsibilities. So you may just not know. You may not know how to care for your body. You may not know how to shower. You may not know how to wash your hair. You may not know how to brush your teeth and how to floss and things like that. And so This just opens the space up so that you have somewhere where you can come back to and you can learn about how to take care of the body, and that you have an idea on, what adults are doing and the kind of care that they do in their bodies. And the care that you do as a child is not necessarily the care that you're going to do as a prepubescent adult. Okay, you're going to need deodorant. You're going to start worrying about your lips being chapped. You're going to start caring about your skin being dry. Like, all those things become important, and that's why it's important for us to have the conversations that we need to have, and you have a somewhere you can go back to where you can have a reference for how to take care of yourself. So, shaving. You can shave, you can use a razor. A razor is good. The number one tip that I need to give you is to always use a new clean razor. Especially if you have the cheap razors, don't use a razor that you found or just a razor from if you're sneaking. Don't do that. Talk to your parents about getting you your own kit. There is a kit that you will need, a toiletries kit that you will need to keep all of your things, and all of those things are your personal hygiene things, and so you want to make sure that those things are only yours, that you're not using. If you are, picking up one, make sure you're picking up a new one. Don't pick up a razor that they already used. Okay, if you have to use a razor that you didn't pay for or whatever, make sure you're picking it out the pack and that it's a brand new one, that you're not using someone else's, right? I definitely was in my mom's razors all the time. I'm sure she was buying them knowing that I was doing it. So, but make sure you're using a new one and not the one that she already has in there, okay? Our hygiene products are ours. They have our bacteria, our DNA, our diseases on them, and so we want to make sure we're not spreading those around, okay? Um Next thing is that areas that you're going to need to shave are going to need moisturizing. So you're going to need some kind of a lubricant between your skin and the hair. So having a soap or a shaving cream or some kind of something that helps the razor to gently glide across the skin, because you don't want to be scraping and ripping and causing little cuts in the skin by applying, heavy pressure and things like that. You want to be able to just lightly rake that hair, and the razor picks it up and it cuts it down. And you shouldn't be digging into the skin or anything like that. So make sure that you have a lubricant that works for you, that you can do it in the shower, or you can use shaving cream, whatever, to make sure you're giving it a place to glide. Next, you don't want to use a heavy pressure, okay? You should not be raking and scraping and scratching. You should just be lightly going over the area. Go over it in different directions, because the hair in your body grows on a grain. That's what we call it, a grain. So it has a direction that it comes out of the hair. Now, if you are black or of Afro descent, you may have a higher propensity of curlier hair, so that when your hair comes out, instead of it coming out on a grain like this, it may come out coily, comes out of the skin coily. And because that skin is coily, it can coil back into the surface of the skin, causing hair bumps. And so if you have issues with that, or if you are black, you will need to keep that in mind if you are shaving, because that hair, when it comes back out, if it does come back out curly and it has that blunt tip that you've created, even if you had the sharp tip, it would still just go back into the skin, and that's where those bumps come from. So you have to be careful if you are maintaining if shaving is your primary hair removal process, that you are taking care of the hair and the skin. So what you're going to want to do is take that razor, pull that skin as tight as you can get it. You want it kind of taut, not tight as you can get it, but just enough to where you don't have any folds. You're not going over any dips or anything, because that makes it more likely that you may cut yourself, and that's not what we want. So dip into there. You don't want to pull that skin tight and then run that razor over the section in different directions. So you're going to run it through the first couple slices this direction, then you're going to go the opposite direction. You can even take it the either other four ways, especially if you're not sure what direction the hair is growing in. And people's hair grows on all different in all different grains, so you have to check and see if you run your hand this way and it feels smooth, then you're going with the grain. If you run your hand this way and it feels choppy and sharp, then that's against the grain. And getting it against the grain is going to give you the closest shave if you're trying to get it, as down as far as you can. Now, if you are black and you have curlier hair, it may be more beneficial for you to just trim the hair versus shaving it all the way down. And that way you would avoid razor bumps, you avoid the itching and, the different kinds of things that come with shaving it all the way down. Leaving it at a little length and just trimming it to a very low level, maybe some trimmers with some guards, you can keep it, trimmed down in a low level, but you're not necessarily you're not recreating the growth of it coming out of the skin and, having nowhere to go. If it's already out, it already has a path. It's going where it's going. Now, it could still go back in, but if you keep it short, that hair is already, free and not going inside of the skin. So if you do have that as an issue, if that your parents, one of your uncles or your dad has razor bumps, or your mom has razor bumps, if you know that you have a curlier wave pattern or a curlier hair pattern, that may be an issue for you. Instead of shaving it, go for a trim, which is just taking the clippers, maybe a one guard or something, and taking it down to the lowest level that feels comfortable for you. You can also do that for your underarms as well, because if you have curlier hair for your underarms, that same hair is going to come out and it could go back into the skin. If you shave it off, it could go back into the skin and create pimples and ingrown hairs under the underarm, which are super painful. So, not all ingrown hairs are painful, but there are some places that you can get them that are painful, and underarms is one of those places. So, you can go for a trim. You can set it up for a trim instead. How much hair you want to shave off is completely up to you as well. You're going to use the same technique if you plan on removing the hair on the testicles, as you're going to try to pull that skin as tight as you can, comfortably, and just break the razor over it. Although it seems like that's a crazy notion, it's fairly easy, and if you want to do that, you can. If you want the hair removed but you don't want to take a razor to it, there are other hair removal options that you can use you may need a little more supervision. Maybe when you get older and you're an adult and you're responsible with your junk, we can talk about some different options. But for right now, that's a good option. No scissors, unless you have a ponytail down there, but I don't think that's a good idea. If it's all you have, I don't want to be, I don't want to be that way where everything that you need costs money and time and blah, blah, blah. But you can make some pretty detrimental mistakes with scissors. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. You can mess it up. So let's be a little more careful with that. Let me go get some water. I'm thirsty. Hold on. And I didn't pack any water. I will be right back. Hello, I'm back. Okay. Had to get me a little water, but I didn't have time to, so I just grabbed the water bottle. You know, we can't win them all. Mm. So, oh, that never happened. Oh, poo. So, okay. So, shaving. We're still talking about shaving. I'm sorry, I was thirsty. I had to get out of here. So being able to shave, whatever you want to do is up to you. Whatever hair removal system you use, you'll have more options when you get older. But you can shave if you want to, or if not, it doesn't, change who you are. There are some sports where it is you do have to do some shaving. I think, if you have swimming, I believe. I don't know if they require it, but I think that is recommended. There are some sports and some activities that you'll participate in that you may be required to shave. So, hey, I get it. But yeah, you can shave or you cannot shave. It's completely up to you. Okay. Okay, let's see if we have any other questions. Let me get to the website first. I hope y'all are having an awesome day today. If you have any questions that you want to ask, please feel free to drop them in the chat. You can ask any questions that you like. And I will answer them with no judgment, no tea, and no shade. I'm not here to judge what you're doing. That is not my job. I am here to make sure that all the things that you are doing, that you're having a good time doing them. That's my job. So, let's see. Mm, okay. Let me think about that one. Okay, so the question says, why does the Western world focus so heavily on sex? Okay. That's I don't know that I agree with that. We do. Okay, we do, but we focus on sex in a very different way. Um we do have a focus on sex, but it's in a very different way because the the book of Tantra did not come from the United States of America. Like, we're talking about ancient writings and drawings and pictures of specific and explicit sexual acts, and that book has been a bestseller for 651,000 years. So, like, yeah, we do have a we also do focus on sexuality, but if you think about it, just because they have in a lot of some of those communities, and when I'm thinking about communities, I'm thinking about like um, Indian and Asian communities where it is where women are expected to be demure in their they hide not hide but they cover their bodies, cover their entire bodies, and the still the people still follow them around. Even them having to do that, even that is, it feels hypersexual to me, that I cannot even exist without someone thinking of me as a sexual object. and that I have to take all these additional precautions to paint myself as demure and uh, as pure and in a society that does not hold the opposite sex to that same standard. So we do have there. I mean, there is a certain level of hypersexuality in Western culture, yes, but I do not believe that it is more so focused. I think that a lot of what we do, though, especially the work that I do, isn't necessarily coming from people being hypersexual. It's actually coming from people being the opposite, and that they are so withdrawn from their sexual nature that they are not asking any questions. There's no curiosity associated with it. They're just thinking that it's this magical process that's supposed to take place and that people are supposed to enjoy it. And that's not the way that it works. So you really are. I can see how that would be interpreted, but I don't think that's the case. I do not. There are many other cultures that or societies that have very different views on sex and sexuality. We're still fighting for queer and trans people to exist, and there are communities across the world that a space has been made for those bodies for centuries. For centuries. So our hypersexuality it's weird. It has a duality in the Western world, but it is not more uh I don't feel like it's a more of a focus here, or why we are more focused on it here. I don't believe we're focused on it enough. I don't believe we're focused on it enough. So, um, from the outside looking in, like, I get that. I get how you would, you think that what's going on, like, um, all you guys, everybody on the TV is naked and all the songs are about sex. And if I'm being honest, it's just a bunch of projecting. It's just a bunch of projecting. There are very few people who are living the lives that you see on TV. The sexual lives. Very, very, very few. Okay. Don't let them convince you that they've been out here living La Vida Loca, because they have not. That people are starved for pleasure and attention. So, um, but I do think that it is difficult to see that as someone who's just living in your culture. I don't know what culture you specifically are coming from, but there are other cultures that don't give women the sexual freedom that women in the United States have. Even though our rights are still severely undermined and limited uh, from our counterparts, from the amount of rights and responsibilities they have, we still have a lot more than other communities. We have the freedom of speech. Our women can be hypersexual if they choose and still not be subjected to violence, or they may be subjected to public scrutiny, but we're still working on that. But they're not going to be subjected to violence. Their brothers and their fathers are not going to try to harm them or try to sell them off or anything like that. So there is a level of freedom that we have here in the Western world that many other communities don't, but we are still far, far, far behind our cultural counterparts. Far behind. I mean, again, we've just started researching women's bodies and the care and the things that it needs to survive, and just realizing that women need more sleep and women need more calories on their cycle, and women need more calcium. It's all these things that they just did the study on the community that they had access to, and they gave the data to all of us and told us that it applied to all of us. And that's not the case. It's not the case. So that is that's what we have to work with. But it's not perfect. It's not a perfect system in the least. It's, I'm not even sure it's an effective system. But again, compared to what other communities have available to them, we are looking at some differences, but also some similarities, because even though we're different in a lot of ways, many of those communities that are more restrictive on sexuality are also deeply religious. Deeply religious. So when you think about those communities, you're thinking about people who are running off of a system and a set of rules that was to tell you that dark skin is a curse. Or that you should be able to have intimate connections with children. And so those kinds of communities, even though they are super restrictive in some ways, like you can't wear a short skirt, but you can definitely marry a minor if you wanted to. And it just shows how we view things in a light based on the values that we've associated to the situation that we're in. So when you are religious, I remember when I was, I'm a black woman, so I grew up a black woman in the South on top of that. So I grew up in church, was in church every Sunday, Wednesday, and Saturday because we had choir practice. So I grew up in the church, and I remember the moment that I was like, I don't know if this is for me. And it was the moment when they were talking about the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, and when they went there and they went to the house, when Jesus went to the house, and all the people in the city were banging on the door trying to get him, and he offered up his virgin daughters instead of his guest. And I was just like, well, hold on, because you're telling me that I need to save this thing and save this virginity, and you just gonna give it away to, like, you gonna give it away on my behalf to someone else, to, like, how is that a thing? And so you just have these values that people have put on these systems and these processes, and it makes you blind to the possibility of others, or the possibility of a wider existence. We're growing at a rate where people are becoming afraid of new things and of evolution, but there has never been a time that the world has not been evolving. There's never been a time. It has been evolving this whole time. There's all of the 43 years that I've been here, the 62 years my mama was here, the 40 however many years my daddy was here, all that time before, stuff was evolving, stuff was changing. And yet we get here and we're like, why is stuff changing? Why is the language changing? Why is stuff evolving? You don't get to live here if you don't want to live in evolution. Like, you have to live in evolution if you want to live here. So it's a process, and we have to evolve past the stipulations of something that was built not with all people in mind, and is not built on equality amongst the individuals. If that is not the foundation of your religious beliefs, then it's flawed. And all religious beliefs have a hierarchy. It's a part of being in a religion. And really, I think that's why religion is so popular, because I cannot understand, as divisive as it is and as traumatic as it is for many of the people in those environments, how it keeps going, how it, like, moves. But we people have a need to have the hierarchy. They have a need to have someone to look down on. They have a need to have someone to look up to. And if they don't have that, it is complete chaos. And so if the the religious systems are feeding that need in people, then it will continue to just keep going, and we will just find new peoples and new ways and new hierarchies to oppress each other. So we have to open up the possibility that maybe we're not doing it right, and not that we're doing it right here either, just because, in here, and I'm saying in the Western world because I'm in the United States, and I'm assuming that's what you're talking about, because we are the Florida of the world. Okay, we are. I get it. I don't have nothing to say. The United States is the Florida of the globe. Hey, but we are not perfect. We are not. There are people who have much better health and mortality rates for their citizens, for their mothers. They have better and more stable care for children. They have a lot less people living under the poverty line. Like we we have a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. So, yeah, we have the foundation of we can say what we want and we can wear what we want, but we are not given the same rights and the same protections as our male counterparts for doing that. So I hope that wherever you are, that there is a space, that it is. I cannot say that it's not oppressive to you, because societies are gonna be oppressive. We cannot. I don't know why we need that so bad, but we do. It's a terrible habit of humanity. And if you go back in evolution at any point in time, we were looking for somebody to oppress. The first term, it was trans. We got to get the trans out of here. We got to get them. And now we on to Latinas. Always be a hierarchy, and we perpetuate in some of those systems and compel and influence some of the storylines of those people. We have the Black community absolutely has an issue with trans rights, with trans individuals. I see us in those comment sections all the time, just showing our whole buttholes behind something that has nothing to do with us. Nothing to do with us. Of all the people that are causing harm, real live harm in the world, we have people worrying about how people are showing up. How they're showing up. That's what we're concerned about. We are bombing people. We are starving people. I saw today that Texas ProPublica did a study on Texas since the restrictive abortion bans, and that blood loss has gone up 54% in miscarriages in Texas. Gone up 54%. We don't have that. And so we have an obsession with sex, but only the part that is beneficial to the system, not the parts that are beneficial to everyone else. Just whatever we can use to sell it, whatever we need to do to make people want to buy it. That's the sexual liberation that we have. And at the end of the day, the kind of protections and the kind of things that we need to be concerned about are far greater than what someone identifies as. I identify as a bad bitch all day, every day, even though my stomach is sitting in my lap right now, inside of my tights, still sitting in my lap. But what does me identifying as a bad bitch change about how you show up in the world? What does it mean for you? Do you want me to explain to your child why I'm a bad bitch? I'll be happy to do that, because I don't care that my stomach is sitting in my lap. It doesn't change how great of a person I am. It doesn't change how smooth my skin is. It doesn't change how long my hair is. It don't change how ashy my elbows are. None of that stuff. You're just taking information and taking on a burden that has nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you. So I think that people want to be mad. People want to have a hierarchy, and that's the reason why that continues. So, I do. I hope that wherever you are, that you are in a place where you believe that you can be sexually expressive as well, or that you are in a space um, where that is encouraged. Yeah, that's what I want to say. Where that is encouraged. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see what else we have. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the chat. You can drop your questions in the whatever platform you're watching on. Drop your questions in the chat, and I will get them answered for you. If you do not want your question people your business, which I completely understand. Sorry, I'm not even gonna pretend like I'm not tired. mm. Yeah. So if you have your questions, you can drop them off into my chat, or you can send them to any of our social medias so that we can get them answered for you. Let me see what we have in here. Okay. Nothing in there. What else? What else? Where else do I need to check? Let's look in here. I need to put all my social media back in this. I hope that y'all are taking care of yourself today with the changes in the healthcare. Um, Everything that's going on, because we are gonna have some changes. It's gonna be less resources available for people for different things that they need. So I don't even know what to tell you to do, honestly. Like the we just keep saying that the repercussions of this is going to be so crazy, but as this stuff is happening, everybody's like, oh, everybody's just being crazy. No, this is the repercussions of the actions that we are taking. We are taking away resources from a vulnerable population. Some of that vulnerable population is military trained. So we are really, really risking it all. We really are. Like, it feels like it's a collapse coming. And the thing is that this is being done knowing that it's not going to be a permanent thing, right? It's like he's there now, so let's get everything, let's get it, because when the next president gets in, if we are smart, which we may not be, we're going to likely pick someone who is better. Maybe not. Maybe not. And they're going to put it back to the way it's supposed to be, and rich people aren't going to be getting rich, and people aren't going to die, and all those things. But in the meantime, those people are going to bleed it dry until there is nothing left. They're going to take every dollar, every dime. They have no loyalty to America. They have no loyalty to American people, but they will use that, your American loyalty, against you, especially with now we're coming up on Independence Day. You're about to see America, 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 while they are snatching your stuff right up under you. Snatching your SNAP benefits, snatching your health care, snatching your resources for food security, snatching your mental health resources in the communities. Like, we are really about to see shit start to shake. So when you see like people tripping and you see people going on, or if you are a person who's like tripping or struggling right now, just know that like this is a curated response to the actions that our nation has taken. Okay, you are not crazy. You are not meant to survive this. Okay, you are not meant to. You are meant to be a casualty while our system benefits the people who are in power while it enriches their pockets. It doesn't matter that you are a good person. It doesn't matter that you are Mormon. It doesn't matter that you paid your tithes. It doesn't matter that you're a teacher or a nurse. None of that stuff matters. None of it matters. You are expendable to people who will use your body as money and as collateral, which they've been doing to black bodies for a very long time. But they're about to drop some of that. Y'all about to sprinkle. Y'all about to see what it's like. Y'all about to see what it's like. And I'm really, really concerned for my people because I know that we don't have great resources as it is. And then when we get stressed, we don't have very good conflict resolution skills, right? Because we don't have nothing to lose. Everything's being taken from us, and people are shitting on us and just telling us to take it. They're not going to fight for something, and if they don't feel like they have anything to lose. Like, what do I need to do that for? You're going to take all that shit anyway. So we're looking at a unique environment that is going to really test the bounds of who we are and where this country is going to go. We might not seem so hyper focused on sex in a little bit. We might be hyper focused on food or children's education or anything. It just seems like I really had to like come to terms with this, right? Because I've been here 44 years. So I've seen different presidents. I've seen how presidents were expected to move. I've seen what we thought was the worst, which was George Bush 2. We were floored. Like, what? But for it to be here now is just kind of like, they're gonna burn it all down. Those people they don't care. They're gonna get as much as they can while it is crashing and burning. They're gonna siphon as much as they can out of the economy, out of the people, out of the American people that they can, until it's nothing left to do, until it's nothing left to have, and it busts. And then they're gonna hoard their money and they're gonna take it, and no one's ever gonna see them again. They're gonna go to Geneva. And we have to sit with the repercussions of the world that they created. And that is what we deserve, because that's what we voted for. That's what the American people have condemned us all to. And so President Trump is the president America deserves. Always has been. I said that the first term. He is the president that America deserves. And I hope he burns it all down. I do. Because it's the only way it's going to be repaired. It's the only way that we have an opportunity to leave that cycle in the background and start something new. It's the only way we're going to do it. And so I just hope that I survive it. I hope that I do. I hope that my family and friends survive it. But we shall see. We shall see. So just make sure you're taking care of yourselves in this time, that you're not stressing, and that you are not doing too much, that you're not giving too much of your energy to those situations that you have no control over. What can we do? I mean, they went through all the proper channels to do what they are trying to do. They didn't lie. They did lie, but we believed them. They didn't, forcefully run in there. They tried that. It didn't work, but they went through the proper process. They got together. They rallied behind each other. They voted, and this is what they voted for. So this is what we have and what we are going to be stuck with. So I'm just trying to have my little fun in the meantime, slipping between the cracks of doom and go on some more vacations. That's what I got planned for myself. I don't know what everybody else is doing. So we shall see. I'm super excited though. So let's talk about what we got for the rest of the week. What are we doing? What are we doing? So today is Wednesday where we're doing our Ask Coach Catasha. Tomorrow is Sex Tech Thursday where we're going to be talking about ethical toy platforms. Ethical toy platforms are platforms that are um, using using the data that comes with your toys in a way that is ethical, because some toy companies are selling your data. You know, data is the new gold right now. So um, we're going to be talking about some companies that you can buy from that you would feel safer moving through with the type of systems they have in place and what they are showing that their company stands for. So we'll be talking about that tomorrow, 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and then normally on Fridays we do late night with Coach Catasha at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. But it is the 4th of July, so we are going to be off. We love a holiday. I will be sitting on the back porch with my sugar muffins, watching the kids in the neighborhood like I've done for the last 7 years. I like my neighborhood fireworks, and I can just sit in my backyard and watch. So that's what I'll be doing. I hope that you are going to be enjoying your family, and I call it a happy family cookout day. That's what we love a cookout, and giving us a reason to turn that grill on. Absolutely. So hopefully you have a safe holiday. Statistically, there will be some people that end up injured. You are not going to be one of those people, okay? Do you see? You are not going to be one of those people. So make sure you are playing with your fireworks safely, or that you are paying somebody to do that and just enjoying the show, okay? All right. Do we have any other questions? Do we have something we want to talk about? Did a question not make it into the chat? Let me go look at the. Let me go look at. They said it's a place where I'm supposed to be able to see the. If there were any questions in the chat. Okay. Where would that be though? Let's look over here. I need this to open up. Let's see what it says. Stream manager? I feel like that's it. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. What's today? July 2nd? Oh, yeah. Okay, let's do that for sure. Huh. It was saying that this was unstable. This. I wonder, was it unstable for y'all? Did it feel choppy? Let me see if I have any questions. If you have any questions or have any comments about sexual health or gender identity or whatever you may have questions about, you can leave them in the chat. You can drop them off and we can answer them live, or you can email me and I can bring them back to the chat. Um, I don't see. I don't see where any the questions would be. Oh, that's a floater. If they didn't get, oh, let me look in here. Chat settings. Scroll only. So sometimes if the chat view unban requests, oh, I don't know what that is. Oh, I don't know what that. Okay, that's not my business. Um. Okay, well, I don't think we have any other questions. If you do have any questions, this is the time. You can leave them in the chat. Oh, automatically hold messages for moderators to review. Okay, what's in here? Let's do that. Oh, okay. It says, however, some messages may still be withheld from chat as some words are never allowed on Twitch. Ew, okay. Okay. So you're going to have to um, be creative when asking your questions to make sure that they don't trigger the moderator system. It doesn't tell me what words. Share band info. I don't have that. Nope. Ooh, I can put some terms in there. What kind of terms should I put? It lets me add some words. Um, okay. Well, it doesn't look like we have any other questions set up. So I will see you all back here tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time for Sex Tech Thursday, where we will be discussing ethical toy platforms. So make sure you put it on your calendar. If you're not following us already, go ahead and click the button. Make sure you're getting a notification when we go live.